Femi, okay?
I'm Malika Bilal, and you're in the stream.
Today, protests in Haiti have flared up yet again. What can be done to move the country away from perpetual crisis?
We're talking about solutions for Haiti's economic woes, and we want to know what suggestions you have. Share them with us via Twitter or in our live YouTube chat.
My name is Mia Alberti. I'm an international journalist, and you're in the stream.
Despite billions of foreign aid going to Haiti, why do citizens say that they are not seeing any benefit to the people? Demonstrators want change to the country's food and fuel shortages, lack of public services and alleged government corruption. Around 20 people have been killed in the current wave of protests, which are in its 7th week. Violence between police and demonstrators have put everyday life at a standstill. Many businesses have been forced to close, and an estimated 2 million children are unable to attend school. Protesters are fed up and want President Jovenel Moise to resign.
We're demanding that Jovenel Moise leave power because there are many young people that can't work. Rather than work, they offer us arms. Many of us went to school, we learned a profession, but we can't work in this country. That's why we're demanding that Jovenel Moise go, and if he doesn't want to, we're going to set fire to the whole country.
So joining us to discuss the protests, from Port-au-Prince, Valina Elise-Chalier, an anti-corruption activist. Also in Port-au-Prince, Edzer Emile, an economist and author of the book, Haiti Has Chosen to Be a Poor Country. In Minneapolis, Minnesota, Ethan Dupont, a journalist who's been covering the protests. He has contributed reporting on Haiti to news outlets, including Al Jazeera. And from Monaco is Haiti's Foreign Minister, Bachet Edmond. Welcome, everyone, to the stream. So good to have you here. I want to start with people online, because that's where a lot of frustration is being vented right now. Valina, I'll direct this one your way. It's from William, who describes what life is like these days. William says, I'm currently in Port-au-Prince. It's anarchy. He goes on to say every major roadway paved is blocked by rocks, trash, stalled out vehicles. It costs roughly $10 to $20 to cross each blockade, and there is no way in and out of the city. So, Evelina, you're in Port-au-Prince as well. What are you seeing, and does it vibe with what William sees?
What we're seeing in Haiti today, and especially in Port-au-Prince, is a result of corruption, impunity, and social injustice. William is right. It's chaos in the city. But that chaos is following a year and a half of nonviolent protest, asking for accountability, asking for the government and the officials to stop with corruption and impunity. When a power is based on corruption, impunity, social injustice, when inflation is 20%, when there is no hope in a country, it can only lead to chaos. And we have not seen any sign from the government, apart from repression, apart from killing the protesters. We have not seen any clear signs that we would see the light at the end of the road. And the dialogue, the people in the streets, they've been very clear about their demand. They're not only protesting for the sake of protesting. They are also saying, this is what we want. We want the president to resign. They're saying why they want the president to resign, because he's involved into corruption. And they're also giving ways to solve this once and for all so that we can break the wheel. So it is chaos. And for as long as the government remains in power, it seems as if it is going to be continued chaos.
So the pictures that you're seeing right now, viewers, on the screen, those are protests from October the 27th. Minister, you are outside of Haiti right now. As you are travelling around the world and people are seeing pictures like that, they're hearing about protests in Haiti. How do you explain what is going on to them?
All right, but I will always say that to what Ms. Velinda just said, corruption is a matter of perception. You can go around and accuse people of being corrupted or being corrupt without any proof whatsoever. But the most important thing is there is a fact, what the young man said on the street. The country is in a mode of chaos, and roads are blocked. And what Ms. Velinda said, I would accept that some of the protesters' demands are legitimate. We cannot run away from that. But whenever there is violence, killings, burning people's property, this is not legitimate. So don't tell me that the protest was peaceful. Now it cannot be any more peaceful. It has to be a peaceful protest because once you keep burning down everything you had in a country, but today you are in a position, you want to lead tomorrow. Therefore, what are you going to lead on? If you want to burn even ambulances, even public properties, even private properties. But those are deficit for in our national economy. We cannot continue on this path. We
I
can yes,
I want to
we
something.
can express our feelings, but it doesn't have to be violent.
Minister,
Yeah,
if you would allow me, I did not say that I validate that the protests are violent. I am saying that there was a year and a half of peaceful protests, and following those peaceful protests, the population, which is becoming poorer by the day,
Don't say the
is
population.
only, yes,
This is where I
it
disagree
is
with you,
the
Velita.
population,
I
including me. I am living in Haiti
I
and
want to
I'm
jump in a
becoming
little
poorer
bit.
by
Jump
the
in a little
day.
bit.
I am becoming
Velita,
poorer by the day.
Velita,
So the
Velinda,
population,
Velinda,
including
would
me,
you
is
agree with
becoming
me?
poorer by the day.
Would
So,
you agree with me
So
that
so
it's
there is a
Minister
part of the
Anvilina, I
there is
know
a
that
part of
Etan would like
protesters?
to join the conversation. Etan, go ahead.
Yes, I think it's fair to say like when we talk about corruption in Haiti, it's not just a matter of like perception. It's the corruption is really deep. For example,
Of course, I agree with that. I agree with that.
what's fueling these protests the most is the Petro-Caribbean reports. Like the Petro-Caribbean Fund was designed exclusively to help the Haitian government support the most vulnerable people in Haiti through social programs and through like very like desperately needed infrastructure in Haiti. But what happened at the end of the day, it turns out to be a scam. And when you're covering the protests in the streets, people are very frustrated, and then they want to know what happened with that money. And I have to agree with Velena at some point, because in the beginning, when the reports came out last year, people were organizing sittings, send out letters, send out tweets, asking for accountability. So
Ethan,
things change
Ethan,
right now,
you
but
will agree with me. You will
I
agree
would
with
like
me
to
that
say something.
Ethan, you will agree with me and any normal society, if there is such a there are facts that that money of Petrocaribe they have been misused. But in any normal society, why the process doesn't go through justice? Why we doesn't follow what
Let,
is being
let,
done now?
let me
The
make a point.
Senate, the Senate, from the Senate to the High Court of Accounting,
Etsa, I hear you. I'm
the
just waiting for a
process
little
is
gap so I can bring you back into the conversation. Minister, just
the
finish up,
process is
please.
there. So why don't we? I mean, now if someone want to make me believe the destruction of the little we have, that will be the way to go to that to prove the money has been misused. I certainly, I respectfully disagree with that. I don't think that's the right way. We need to let the justice system work.
Etsa, go ahead,
Yeah,
please.
I would like to say that we can't justify violence, but we understand when actually 80% of the people are poor with no basic service, with no health, no education, there's no way you can have social peace. So it's any society in the world. When you have so much inequality and frustration and social exclusion, it's like understandable to have that kind of violence, because violence is a way for people to express and also to make the voice heard. But we're not saying that it's good, but at the same time, we feel that those people, they, uh, I mean, the government or the society make violence to them every day. So maybe they respond. It's like a reaction for the social injustice that they're living every day. But
Therefore, it's
I
there.
would
I
like
believe.
to,
Therefore, it's
I
there.
would
I
like,
believe
let me,
the only way
yeah,
to
let
do
me,
that is the dialogue, is a social
I
because if you say it that way, it's the people. They have to use violence not only against the government, but they have to use violence against the society, even against those who have. That's what you want to tell me.
Yes, I hear you all just weighing in on the protests and how the protests have grown and changed in how peaceful they are to today. I'm going to move us on a little bit because there's so much more to talk about. Malika.
So a little bit earlier, you mentioned the Petrocaribe project, and I want to explain that for our audience. It was an oil project with Venezuela in which funds were allegedly misappropriated and then not used to build some of the public works and infrastructure projects that they were supposed to be used for. So this is a tweet from Jess Laporte, who says, examples of incomplete Petrocaribe projects litter the map of Haiti. The investigation has happened, but no action taken, as sitting President Jovenel Moise's company is named, not in this project, she mentions, but in many others, she says. That is one aspect of what's troubling her. Here's another. Jess continues by saying, these are the things that keep me up at night. Households are struggling under 20% inflation to make ends meet. Consultation fees and medications are even harder to afford when prices for basic necessities are rising. Minister Edmond, I want to give this one to you because she seems to wrap this all up under corruption and that being the greatest frustration for people who are struggling to survive. How would you respond to her?
Listen, she's right. Corruption it's not an issue of today in Haiti. It has been for years, but unfortunately, all governments, all private sectors, they have something to do with it, and it's a matter of national, awakening to deal with it, because the issue most of the time we tend to believe or we tend to choose only corruption is government. The corruption is also the private sector as well. But when she mentioned about the Petrocaribe misuse fund, it is right. That fund was misused. And that's why I believe, as I said before, in any normal society, the justice process system has to be working. They have to let it work.
I want to add something.
Listen, Belinda, go ahead.
Yes, I would like to give a bit of context, just a bit more context on what the Petrocaribe is in 1 minute. The Petrocaribe Fund was a fund for development. Most of that Petrocaribe was embezzled during the PHTK, which is the political party in power. Most of it was embezzled during the previous government. And what we have been asking, like I was saying, since a year and a half, is for accountability on what's happening on the Petrocaribe. And I'm also going to add that in that Petrocaribe, the first report and the second report, there are companies that were owned by the current president, which are involved in that corruption. And what we have been asking, allow me to finish.
Belinda, let us be serious.
Please allow me to finish.
So guess, we only have so much time. Velina, I hear you make the point. These are allegations. Minister, I know that Etan wants to speak to you as well. I need to swiftly move this on. We could spend the entire show talking about Petrocaribe. Etan, what did you want to add? Go ahead, please.
Yeah, what I want to add is this is not just about, this is, okay, how do we move forward? And you have as we speak right now, when people asking, the government to do something, they're asking for real changes. So one of the few things that's happening is the president playing propaganda and making promises on radio and TV. And you cannot, we nearly 3 years into the president since he came into power, and this is still happening. He's still making promises. And in my opinion, I think one of the biggest opposition to this president is his promises, because he can't.
Etan, let me just play a little bit of your president right here, and we can hear what he is saying to the people who are protesting in Haiti. Let's have a listen.
I want to take this moment to say to the people out on the streets, those who are protesting across the country, that I hear your voices. I am working so that peace returns and so that schools can be operational. I was working to avoid the unknown, so that in place of this unknown, there is a change, for an end to the system and to establish another system, for a country to be at peace, with awareness and development.
Your president says that he's listening to you, he's listening to the protesters of Haiti.
If you let me,
I don't think this is how the people in the streets feels right now, because every time the president speaks, after that you see more protests, you see more barricades, you see more anger. I think there's a big problem of credibility that is playing right now. So I think something has to be done so we can move forward, because we're on a gridlock right now, and I don't see any dialogue happening.
We keep saying something has to be done, but Ethan, as a journalist, you need to explain that to the people, to the viewers. Something needs to be done. We cannot keep saying something needs to be done. We need to act. But why happen when the president invites everybody from the oppositions to come and sit to dialogue? Listen, we may have an issue with the president personally. We may disagree with him, but he's the current president of the country. Now, there was a situation, there was a chaos. If someone wants to tell me that is the way to go, to keep that country the way it's going, locked all the time, kids cannot go to school, and the country is not at peace, I don't see why we refuse to sit down. And I believe whatever the situation, we need to sit down and put aside our differences. Let us see how we can get out of this. Do not sit down.
So, Minister and guest, Etzer has been patiently waiting, so I want to bring him in, but I want to do it via the community because they're also patiently waiting. So I hear the conversation going on here, and it's very similar to what I'm seeing online. I want to play first a video comment from someone who kind of echoes what I'm hearing, that there needs to be change and action and dialogue. So this is Wilbert Sanford. Here's what he told the stream.
The political situation in Haiti is very worrying. For more than 7 weeks, the population has been demanding the departure of the President Jovenel Moise. In my opinion, and as a general coordinator of a Haitian civil society organization, I think we need to conduct dialogue and form a new government to get country out of these political crises that will lead to an economical crisis.
So Etzer, you could hear him say we need dialogue, but online, people watching live, one of them is Pierre Paul. Pierre says the president, Jovenel, leaving would hardly fix anything. He goes on to say it's because this is nothing new. This has been going on for 40 years. Everyone comes into power. The people want them to leave after 6 months. Yes, there's corruption, but it's a cycle, he seems to be saying there. Etzer, what do you make of that?
I'll go back a little bit on dialogue concept. Dialogue is based on trust. When there's no trust, you can have a dialogue. Right now, people don't trust the president. They don't trust the government because the president has been giving broken promises for 2.5 years now. And then, you have the impression he's still campaigning. He's talking about what he wants to do, what he plans to do, while actually people are struggling. And then we don't have signal. He said he want to fight against corruption, but there's no signal. Nobody get arrested. So that's the problem. So there's no way you can convince people and make them believe you want to move forward and you want to be sincere with your dialogue when you can't keep your word.
I believe, Edza, I believe one of the ways to impose those views are thrown on the table of dialogue. Because when you said you're talking about trust, but the trust is both ways. The lack of trust is within this country, is deep within this country. It is not a matter of being president today because of Jovenel, we don't trust Jovenel. Within our society, we don't trust each other. That's a reality, that's a fact. But I believe through dialogue, you come with your point of view, you come with your concerns, and we will discuss that. Because if you keep saying, because of no trust, and the country is dying, women cannot give birth, they cannot reach a hospital. All roads are blocked, everything are not working. And then, I don't understand that. I believe as a Haitian citizen, I'm not a minister, I'm not talking as a minister now, I'm talking about a Haitian citizen. I want to see all of us.
Minister, you're still a minister, even if you're a minister and a Haitian citizen. Velina, I hear you loud and clear. Let me share something with you because this is also important.
Conversation with my fellow citizen. That's why I say I don't feel a minister now because
you're always a minister. But I hear where you're coming from. This is really important for our international audience. And Velina, I really want to share this with you as well. You know these stats. This is what the Haitian economy looks like right now. It's the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. The GDP is less than 10 billion. There are more than half the people live on less than $2.40 a day. Inflation at 20%. What is any government, despite this current government that you're not particularly happy with, do about that? These are major, major economic issues. What is your suggestion? What do you need?
What we need, first thing first, and that's what I wanted to tell the minister, for dialogue to happen, it takes somebody that we can trust, like Jazeera was saying it. The last commission that the president did to lead the dialogue, the day after or a couple of days after he addressed the nation, 4 members of that commission resigned because part of the dialogue was him as president putting his mandate on the table so that we could, as a nation, move forward. So if the president is not ready to listen to the hundreds of thousands of people who have been protesting in the streets for more than a year and putting his mandate on the table, that's the reason why the dialogue can't move. What is it that we need? We need to
listen to that because while he was giving a press briefing, he said that it is not attached to the mandate. Once, and secondly, is ready to form a national unity government.
Why did 4 of these commissioners resign?
But
I
think, can I just hear the minister for a moment? I would just really want to hear his response. Hold tight, everybody else.
Belinda, the president listened because through his press briefing, he stated that the discussion, the dialogue, if everything has to be put on the table, he is ready to discuss. That's why he even opened to have a unity national government. It could be from the opposition. While you are in the government, while we are forming that government to work together, we still can work on the different ideas. I mean, the issue is that this is my personal concern. When we keep destroying the country like this, you who wants to be in the power tomorrow, what are you going to lead on? I don't understand that.
I think also this
Minister,
is one of the...
to make it clear, I do not want to be on power. I am a citizen who wants to live decently in my country.
Let me bring in Edsa. Edsa, this is really interesting.
You have the right to do so.
If I may, Edsa, the whole idea of this show was, can Haiti move away from constant crisis? Listening to this conversation and knowing what you know from an economic point of view, is that possible?
Yes. It's possible because...
It's not possible, it's not possible if there is no political stability.
Yeah, let me finish, Minister. Let me finish, Minister.
The only way we can still do that...
Minister, just hold tight for a moment. I just want to hear how this is possible. Go ahead, Edsa. Go ahead.
Yeah, the economic recovery is possible. You know, it's possible to actually you get on track with, jobs and investment. And first, we admitted that there's no way you can make the country move economically if you have political trouble like that. But the political trouble, they don't come from the sky. They've been, feed and created by bad governance and the incapacity of the government to really put everything in place.
So Edsa, I'm going to leave you. I'm going to put a pause on you there, period on you there, because we are at the end of the show. So much to talk about in Haiti. So much to talk about. But Velina, Edsa, Eton, and Minister, we really appreciate you being on the show today. We will continue always online. Thanks for watching. See you next time.